Thanks for choosing the Finally Be podcast, your reminder to give yourself permission to embrace the divine disruptions. Open up your intuitive knowing and choose the life you really want. I'm Marcy Grayson, and I'll be on this journey with you, sharing ways to elevate your awareness by living from your wholeness. This is your moment to choose your true you and finally be. Most people believe the world only works one way because of the evidence they have in their life. And I want to just give you guys some background of my journey and how I discovered that the answer was not just me, but I was also my own possibilities. Hi, my name is Marcy Grayson. I am your intuitive resolve coach, meditation coach, Reiki energy therapist, and licensed therapist. And I'm doing this podcast because I know that this is a space that you can be encouraged and be yourself and know that you are the more, the remarkable, and the everything. That to live from your wholeness is the sweet spot, that deep sense of knowing to finally be and choose your true you. I'm so glad you're joining me today. I'm glad because I appreciate this moment and this understanding that, hey, this is my first podcast. Whoa. And I am consciously making a decision to enjoy this moment and to allow myself to totally be transparent about who I am in my journey today. And it's because I want you to come along with me on my journey. I want you to know that me being me allows you to be you. And you being you helps me to continue to shine my light as well. Well, it's something that I've been kind of thinking about for a very long time. How most people believe the world only works one way because of the evidence that they have in their life. Their family may look a certain way, and their relationships may be determined by maybe a feeling that, hey, there needs to be a change and there needs to be a shift. I don't like how this feels. I don't like how this is working for me. But yet we stay in the relationship, maybe because of our moral compass, where we believe that, hey, this is how relationships are supposed to be. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be work, you know? Or maybe it's a career that you're in and that you're in it because you want to do something that provides the best for your family, or you in this career where you're working hard and or you're hustling and you're doing all the things and you want because you want to create a difference in the world. Or maybe it's your family and you have this role that you play, and it can be heavy, it can be really heavy to play the roles that we play for our family and make sure that we maintain those relationships. Or how about in your community where you're doing this or that and you want to make sure that you're influencing and making an impact? Or maybe you just have a really good life, but you still know there's something more. For such a long time, we allow ourselves a lot of times to live trying to believe that the things that are in our life are there because they're supposed to be there, are there because this is the only path that I can take because this is the path I'm on. And we will put our heads down or put our heads up and make sure that we stay encouraged and keep going and keep moving because this is supposed to be this way. This is supposed to be hard. That was my life. I was that person who believed that everything that they did or doing was the thing that they were supposed to do. I went to school the way I was supposed to do. I tried to get the grades, tried to be the nice, sweet daughter. I wanted to be all of the things. I wanted to be the person who accomplished the goals that I set for myself, or I allowed to take on from the people that were around me, or the image that I thought I was creating. I was that person who believed that it will all just come together one day. I was also that person that dealt with a lot of chronic depression. I was down a lot. I was that person who you did not really know was happy, but always smiled. But when I went home, I cried a lot. That had a nervous laugh and didn't know which direction to go in ever. And when I did, I felt if I would pick that way, it would hurt someone else. It would make other things in my life move in a direction that would cause a discord or disruption, so I wouldn't make it. I was that person that would silence himself in every aspect of the words, to silence yourself, to literally not speak, to literally shut the feelings off that I would have. And at the same time, I was accomplishing all the goals. I had a I had a really good life. I was making the money I wanted to make, or I thought I wanted to make. And I was doing the things, I was making an impact, helping those that were around me, going into work and encouraging people to have a more effective and functional life, that they can do more than just manage your life. You can actually live your life. And those were the messages I was giving other people. And I would go home and I would sit in my bed and then eventually find myself lying there weeping and crying. I was that person that took many, many years of pain within myself, thinking that people didn't care for me because I did not feel heard, never realizing that I was the one not speaking, that I didn't feel seen, not realizing that I was hiding, that I didn't feel like myself, knowing that I wasn't living out the things that I knew was who I was. We build this place of evidence around us saying that the way that our life is evidence to the way it's supposed to be. This is the path I'm supposed to have. That expectation, that belief, and then all the research that we do and all the things that we gather to support that understanding of this is how our life is. It comes from a place, and we call it, this is the truth. This is the reality. This is where we are, and this is where I'm going. But it's invalid because it's built on a false truth. It's built on something that you agreed to. Yes. It's a accumulation of all the choices you made in the past that created this moment. That for me was a turning point. That was where the shift happened for me, when I literally decided one day, after a series of being chronically depressed and then going into 10 years of trying to have children and being told, hey, maybe this is just not the path God wants you on, or you're not able to create life. As a mother, maybe you should be a mother figure. Or the doctor's telling me there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with you scientifically. You just can't carry a baby. So all of these things that were facts in my life built up. And I, at some point, decided that I was in agreement with it. But my soul was always crying out, like, hey, why are you feeling so bad if you really believe this? Why is it that you keep seeing glimpses of yourself doing these things and moving this way and developing and impacting life and impacting the world in these certain ways? And this was your truth. And I began to search for the answers within myself. And what I found was I am either going to die, which was really possible because of the state of mind I was in at any point in time. And I can also see the path of something different. I felt the call to something more. We get those glimpses sometimes in our life, and it's always saying, hey, there is something inside of you that's trying to reach out and call you and call after you, and it's boiling up inside. And then we just push it back down and we just want to know, okay, what was that? Why did that feel so good? Well, why did that feel like everything would be taken care of and everything would come together and that I can see the straight line, I could see the clarity and that I didn't know how I could get there, but I knew that there was a there to go to. And that would start to break apart those pieces of evidence that was in me. And that would create even more turmoil because I was like, okay, now this doesn't even make sense. This is not even fitting together for me. I can't even push it back together and pretend anymore. Then the burst of light happened. The burst of light that caused me to know that I have these beautiful ways about myself that I would deny, that I can hear, that I can see, that I can sense things that with people and with my destiny that I knew meant something. And I believe that was something that I could see for everybody. So the journey that I took here to get here was to open that place up and remind myself first that there is something more, that I don't have to deny that truth, that there is something greater and that's inside of me, and that greater is just me. I am my infinite possibilities. I am all the answers that I need, and it's always been there. And I can make that choice. The choice is the gift. The choice is the superpower. The choice was the thing that God was telling me over and over in all those years that, hey, you've always had this thing that create things that's created that space for you to do more, to feel more, to experience more. The more of being more aware of who I knew I was and always been. So I began to say yes and breathe into that space. I began to say yes and allow myself to work within that creative energy that kept boiling up inside of me. Instead of denying it, I said yes to it. I chose, I decided, and that decision began to move me into this place of clarity. And that clarity moved me into this place of being able to see some acceleration in my life. I began to move faster and faster and faster. I began to see that I can create something, that this, the evidence that I was seeing around me wasn't the only thing that was going to be, because I could choose at any time to shift. And I believe that, no, I don't believe, I know that we have this call within us these glimpses, these urges, these beautiful urges that will, yes, create beautiful disruption, but also allow us to move forward, to step forward, to know and to live from that knowing, to live from that wholeness, to live from that place inside of us that's always been there. And there's subtle reminders. And I'm dedicated to being one of those reminders because I needed that. I needed that person, that place, that thing, or that spiritual connection that said, hey, I'm one with the divine. And if I'm one with the divine, I can do anything in all things, in all ways, accordingly. And that was the only message. That was the only thing that would help me to break through. So I began to realize that the decisions I made before created this moment. But if I started from now, that what happens tomorrow can be different. What happens in this next second can be different. What happens in this next moment can be different. That I can come from a place of not just having these moments of realization and aha and brief glimpses, but I can actually have a sustainable reality that causes me to be brighter, be lighter on the inside, feel that effortless ease of being who I know I am. And it starts to shift. It started to shift everything around in my life. It gave me the confidence to begin to create the life that I wanted. So I'm beginning from my now, right now. Right now, I'm allowing myself to see that there is something more still in me. And that's why I want to share this journey, because there's something more in you. There's something more to recognize. There's something that is wanting to elevate you to this place of knowing, and for you to start to begin with your now and make that choice. So, hey, let's shift together. Let's do this together. If you enjoyed today's podcast, or you think that somebody else might enjoy it or would be encouraged or be reminded to live from their wholeness and to finally be and choose their true you, reach out and share this podcast with them. The Finally Be podcast. I'm going to do this weekly, and I want to make sure that we touch base. Leave your comments, your likes, whatever it is, because I'll be here and I'm excited on this journey. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Effortless light, love, and joy.